Hi everyone, good afternoon. It's Louise here from sunny Dubai, and I'm talking about expectation for lots of reasons. I've had 3 amazing new clients today, which have been really uplifting, very exciting to start their journeys, and they've all come in with huge expectations on how others should behave, how they should behave towards them, etc. And what they were really amazed them was that the things I was saying were things that they were really feeling, and that it was like I was inside their mind. And all it is I've been there before. I know what it's like to really expect from other people. So that's what's really promulgated me today, as well as Thanksgiving coming up towards the end of this week, this upcoming weekend, and of course Christmas is on our calendars. And with all of these events, we have big expectations. And for me personally, I've got my mum and dad coming to stay. They land a week today, so they'll be with me for 2 weeks from next Tuesday. So a lot of expectations, and we all have expectations, and they're built up over our beliefs, the environment, our parents, our teachers, our experiences. They all make us or help us or formulate how others should behave. But what happens when we expect things from others and they don't do as we think they should do, as we feel appropriate? We are then disappointed with them, and then we become very disappointed with ourselves because we have failed to get our message across. And for me, I spent most of my life expecting stuff from my mum, expecting people to act in a certain way, because that's what I felt was right. And even, recently, let's take last year, for instance. I've worked through and got through a lot of stuff, so I don't come from this place of expectation. But if I had, it would have ruined a lot of things for me. For instance, we had 2 family members in hospital last year, and I went back to the UK to visit them. I could have gone back with an expectation that, I should be really praised for what I did, etc. But I do these things because I can. I also have a sister who is quite seriously ill with alcohol. She's an alcoholic, has been for many years now. And I do go back and I do see my sister and I do what I can for her. But I go back without an expectation. Because if I go back expecting her to behave in a certain way, I'm going to be really disappointed. So expectation still comes up all the time in life. And of course with mum coming next week, I expect her to behave in a certain way, etc., etc. Expect her to greet me in a way. Praise me in a way, if you like, accept me for who I am. But now I'm in a place where I don't need any of that. I do not have an expectation of anybody. And it really is the most empowering place to be. And it will really help you this Thanksgiving, this Christmas. It'll help you in day-to-day, everyday life if you don't expect from others. It really will. It's had a profound effect on my life. And with mum and dad arriving next week, it does evoke old memories of, I used to dread what was going to happen, dread this, dread that. It wasn't going to work out. And now I have such an open heart. It's exciting. I can really look forward to it without an expectation, because I know I'm going to have a good time. I don't know about them. I don't know if they're going to have a good time. But I know I'm going to have a good time myself, and because I'm having a good time, it'll involve them. But I'm not responsible for their happiness, so I don't expect anything from them. So that's the difference in life when you don't expect from others. So how can you stop expecting? It just doesn't happen like that, because you've been thinking in this way for many years. So the first thing is to start being aware. Really just be aware of your thoughts. Don't do anything with them. Just be aware that when you do something for somebody else, Why are you doing it? And are you disappointed because they don't react in the way you want them to? So you cook a fabulous meal for your husband and he doesn't say, wow, that's amazing. He just eats the dinner and doesn't pass comment. You then are annoyed with him and annoyed with yourself. So being aware, really notice when you feel downright pissed off because you've done something fabulous and it hasn't been recognised. So first thing, being aware. Then, secondly, you can start noticing and writing this down in a journal because you'll see a pattern. You really will see a pattern. You don't have to write down every single little thing, but the most significant things that come to mind, write them down and you will notice, wow, I feel really hurt when I'm not recognised for what I'm doing to others. I feel really rejected when my friend doesn't text me back within 2 hours and I find she's gone for lunch with somebody else. Whatever it is, write it down and you really will start to form a pattern. And when you're aware of what you're thinking and when you're aware of the pattern, then you can change it. And thirdly, you can start daily success rituals. And these are just simply doing things for others without expectation. So smiling at somebody, you give your smile. If they don't smile back, you're not offended by it. You gave it because you could. Driving. I know driving's an issue for a lot of us here in Dubai because it's a push, push, shove, shove mentality. You've got to be in front. Don't play that game. Let that person welcome them in front of you. Don't expect them to thank you or, raise their hand or everything. Give them the place in front of you because you can. So I really want you to try and get into your mindset that you're doing these things because you can, not because you want anything back from anybody else. And this really will help you to understand that you've got everything you need inside of you. You really, really have. You don't need anything from anybody. And it will change your whole world from, big occasions that we've got coming up to perhaps being with family you don't want to be with, relatives you don't want to be with, maybe even friends you're not particularly, bothered about being with. It will help you with all of this as well as day-to-day life. Living without expectation is the very first thing, fundamental in change. And I'm going to be running a webinar next week. I'm going to be running in the evening in Dubai so that it will also be able to incorporate our friends over in the States and in Australia as well and back in the UK. So that I'm going to run this webinar and it's going to incorporate expectation. Acceptance. We just want to be so accepted by everybody. So we're going to talk about acceptance. How to deal with rejection when we do something and we just feel totally deflated. And putting ourselves first in a guilt-free way. Because there's no point putting yourself first if you feel really down about it. So those are some of the things I'm going to be covering in the webinar next week. And I really hope you can join me with that because it really is something that so many of us are going to need during the holiday period coming up. Because I was just talking to a lot of girlfriends this week and looking back over what was going on last January, which isn't too far away, January 2017, and the stories that being relayed of what happened at Christmas, what happened during the holidays, etc., etc. We don't want to repeat those. We want to make this holiday period a different time. So that's why I'm choosing to do it at this time of year, is because the holidays are coming up. And you can make an enormous difference in your own life without speaking to anyone else, just yourself. So I hope that's been helpful today. Do pop some comments below the video and I will always get back to you. You can PM me as well, and always happy to have a Skype chat with anyone to help you really take that step forwards and not stay where you are right now. Thanks very much for listening and I'll be with you later in the week. Bye for now.